Ready for another installment of my series on fly fishing for bass in small ponds in north central Texas. This pond was a private invitation from a friend, a new friend, my best friend. Now he's my best friend, Lyle Bellows, and he gave me the #1 red carpet treatment, and we went to this pond about sunup and fished for about 4 hours, maybe 5 hours, 4 hours I'd say at the most. About 6:30, 7 a.m. till 11, whatever that adds up to. And I don't do math. But let me tell you a couple things about this pond. This is a WSC pond. It's located in Montague County. That is, out of the 3 ponds I've done this year and this summer, 2 of them have been in Montague area. And the reason is these WSC water and soil conservation ponds are back in private lands, and they just happen to accumulate water, and these guys happen to put a lot of really nice bass in these ponds. This one's way back into some private land, and it is also adjacent to the LBJ Grasslands. If you haven't seen the grasslands, go treat yourself to a day drive out and check out the LBJ Grasslands. There are more WSC ponds there. And let me tell you, down in the description is more information about what WSC ponds and WSC as the organization was. It was started back in the 1930s by FDR, and you can read all about it. I don't have to tell you all about it, but you can read all about it. And it was all created along with other things besides these retention ponds. It's all done in order to conserve soil because of the Dust Bowl of the 1930s and how things have been mishandled. So that is why these exist, and they do exist also. Well, even in Denton, Texas, we've got a couple, but they exist also on the LBJ Grasslands. So keep that in mind, guys. This is pure, unadulterated fish porn of the XXX variety. So I'm just going to tell you straight up: hide your kids' eyes, because they won't be able to stand it, and they're going to twist your arm to make you take them fishing somewhere after seeing this video. I'm just telling you straight up, that's the truth. If you stay tuned to the very end, what I'm going to do is give you all the details, because this is a detail-driven video. If I hadn't handled these things in certain ways, details like what fly rod, what fly line, what leader, and the 2 different flies I used for that 4-hour slot of time, I might not have had as good a result. So that can happen. We stayed on the pond until it got too hot and too windy at about 11 a.m. and that was it. So your windows of opportunity are very small, but your window of learning opportunity is at the end of this video. And once you see all these fish, I think you'll want to know how it's done. Special thanks to Lyle. I hope we see more of him in the future. He's my new best friend. And watch the video. If you have questions, comments, that's great. If you want to like and subscribe, I'd appreciate that always. And roll the tape. Not bad, huh? Bad at all. On a Danny Scarborough game changer. Good fly, good fish. Good way to start the day here, North Central Texas. Private pond. Sweet, sweet start. Nicely done, people. Nicely done. Hey guys, we're out here on another private pond, one of those up here north towards the Red River, and man, scoring some good bass here this morning. Beautiful big pond. It's almost a lake as well, and throwing a fly that you might like. It's Danny Scarborough's Tide Game Changer. I know everybody thinks only Blaine can tie a game changer, but I tell you, Danny Scarborough ties a good game changer. Make sure, I'll put a link to him. Make sure you check with Danny Scarborough if you need game changing flies. They're awesome. This is a little bit smaller than the others, but you know, golly man, still about 5 of these so far. Beautiful greenies. Beautiful. Oh, fish right there. I didn't realize I had one on. Ooh. Come on around over here. Wow, these guys are eating like crazy. Ah. Look at this guy. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Yeah, that's a sweet fish. He took it so deep. Hey guy, look at here. Look at, look at. Little guy. I think that's a little one. so bad, not so bad. Get you out of here. Good job. Man, oh man. Woo! I switched flies and they got bigger. Much bigger. Much bigger. Mine too. Mine too. My thumb is starting to bleed. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? You can feel every tick on it, man. You can feel every little piece of grass you hit. You can feel everything about it. Oh, you're a lefty.
Yeah.
What do you reel with?
Right. Yep. That's right, that's nice.
Yeah.
8'10".
Yeah.
Does this got some fiberglass in it?
No, pure carbon.
Carbon.
That's a Gary Loomis blank.
Oh, nice.
Not G Loomis, but Gary Loomis.
Right, because he started.
For the grass. Come on out of there. You are so hooked. You're hooked. You're caught. Oh! Oh! Ouch! It's my finger! The bone! Alright guys, I'm hoping you took the time to maybe take a pause and read the description about what WSC ponds are all about and enjoy that XXX rated fly fishing porn. But we're back. Let me just go over the details on how I approached this pond, because it was a little bit unique. Because as we were driving over the dam, which was a very, very tall dam for a very sizable, nice pond, you could see the vegetation on the surface, so I knew there's a certain strategy that I was going to use before I even hit the water with my kayak. And that's what I did, just fishing out a kayak, and that made it extra complicated. But started with a 5-weight, my Sawgrass, Blue Moon, or Blue Moon, makes me want to drink, New Moon, and 5-weight though, so it was a little bit light. As you can see, I got dragged into the vegetation a few times because 5 was not enough. 6 or 7 would probably be where you'd want to be on a pond that has monster bass like this. But other than that, just a sink tip line, because if we'd have been there at sunup, or even as it was, I would just have been just fine with a full floater line. Didn't need the sink tip. Full floater would have done a lot better for top waters, which if we'd have been there just about 30 minutes earlier, the top water action would have been off the charts, but we were there just a little bit late for that. Get there, get launched, and the first fly I had, which I gave to my new best friend, was a game changer in green, and that is tied perfectly by Danny Scarborough, and it cost you some money too. So Danny Scarborough, I don't know if he's still tying the game changer, but that's what I use, and here's why I use it. Let me just tell you about it. So the game changer is a suspending fly, and generally the hook is pretty much buried in the material, so you're not going to get a lot of snags. When you got all this stuff growing up like this all over the place, you can cast in and retrieve, and it weaves through without going down and dragging and pulling up a bunch of this vegetation. Worked really well. So that's part of the strategy of starting with that. 10-pound fluorocarbon leader, that sinks. So you know you got a sinking leader. Location. The dam, because at the dam you got the good slope right there, and the dam, because of the way the pond was positioned, cast shade on that side of the pond longer than anywhere else had shade anywhere else on the pond. So that's the thinking there. Shade as long as possible. So my distance on this, it'll depend for you guys. If you get on these ponds, your distances will depend, because the vegetation grew out on top of the water. So I was 15 yards off the start and just hitting it, doing the fan job and hitting it, and found a spot where there's plenty of bass, just kind of holed up, and as you see in the video, and I get a drink of water. And as it progressed, as time went by, the sun came up. You know, something about the sun, it always comes up. So I don't know what to do about that, but for now, the sun comes up. From 15 yards off, I moved to 30 to 40 yards off. And because of the slope of the dam, cast right to where I had been floating earlier, and let that fly sink down, and it followed the line. It doesn't go like this. They follow a line like this. So it followed right along the weed line, the top of the weeds, underwater, submerged, and then I would start my retrieve. So I'd do about a 5-second delay after I cast out there. I'd delay a little bit, and I'd change flies. After a while, I thought, well, no, this fly is now not getting deep enough. I changed flies. Changed to the Wakanda. My famous, for sale in my fly shop, Pop's Fly Shop, Wakanda Clouser, black on black, because it was still dark enough in the day, and that fly works day and night, sun and overcast and everything else. The black on black Wakanda fly, go to my fly shop. I'll put a link down in the description. Anyway, because you got to buy something. I mean, come on. That would sink faster, so it would sink faster and go like this, and by the time I started to retrieve on I don't know, half a dozen casts, there's a fish on. It already hooked himself. So that, and they were very, very hungry, and you can tell how a bass is hungry real easy. How deep is that fly inside the mouth? And these guys were sucking it down, so I had to react faster and just slow down my drop and maintain some tension, real good tension, so I could know when there was a take, keep that fly from going too far down into the bass. But I'll tell you what, guys, woo, my thumb, that thumb right there, it was pretty. It's been a day now, maybe 2 days since that beat up on my thumb, but golly, I mean, look at that, crazy, man. And so that's the strategy. As time went by at this pond and it warmed up some more, you could really see where the grass was. The water clarity was incredible, and you could really see where this, not grass, but this vegetation was. And this is what you want to do if you're doing this. You find those channels where there isn't any grass and it's really darker water, and you can go right along parallel to the weed line underneath there, or you can go across it. In this case, you could do whatever you wanted. These guys were hungry, but you started having to hit. You basically kind of secure your kayak in these weeds that were so thick and so close to the surface that you would stop your drift. And then you could cast and fan cast, and then move on to the next area back into the weed line, cast, fan cast it, and just hit those dark areas out there along those channels. And because there's clearly a channel that ran from the dam where the overflow is all the way back up into this drainage area, which went way back in there and was quite spectacular, even in the way back of this place. So that's the techniques, and I'll list all these things that I have just described as far as the equipment. I don't think I left anything out. You know, this rod, if I'd had any other rod besides the Sawgrass and the 5-weight, it wouldn't have been able to wrench those fish out, because some of them ended up, as you can see, in 5 pounds worth of weed. So you would have to reach over and actually pull up the leader, 10-pound leader minimum. I mean, 15 would have been, I would have felt better. And you could wrench it up, and there would be all this mass there, and then underneath, maybe there was a bass, and maybe there was just your fly because he got off. But that was kind of like part of the surprise of whack-a-mole at this pond, was whether or not they would get off into the weeds. So, recapping 2 more important points. One is game changer. Danny Scarborough has a great game changer, as good as Blaine's. And number 2 is Wakanda Clouser, which I tie, and that's a good bass fly all day long, all night long, and in this case, you saw the results. I fished that fly until the hook got dull, and then it was time to go. So I'm gonna have to sharpen that hook if I'm ever gonna use that fly again. Guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this 3rd installment of the pond bass trilogy. It's more than a trilogy, I hope. Hope to get some more of this pond bass action, maybe even going up into Oklahoma. So we'll see about that. Stay tuned, like and subscribe. Questions, comments, always appreciated. We'll see you next time.